The purpose of this channel is to bring the latest news and information to the Commonwealth. I also want to raise awareness and bring education to the stigma that's in the cannabis community. Please medicate and consume responsibly. Welcome once again to Virginia Cannabis Connection. As always, I'm your guy on the couch, Joe Parsons. Joining me again tonight is Sherman the Cat. The latest news from the Commonwealth is that a House panel has delayed its consideration of a Senate-passed cannabis bill to start the retail sales of cannabis in Virginia. The delay, however, is not a bad thing. It is intended to allow backers of the two competing bills more time to hammer out a compromise. Tuesday, a House General Laws Subcommittee began discussion of SB448 led by Senator Aaron Rouse. It has been reported by a sponsor of a separate measure that the two camps are actively crafting a deal. This is a good thing, as it shows how hard our Democratic leaders are willing to work together to craft a measure that not only puts Virginia on par with other states that have long since had success with the retail market, it also shows that the leaders with a similar vision can be willing to make a fair compromise. Senator Paul Kryzik, who is now working with Senator Rouse, has said, "To that end, we would like to have a motion to pass by for the week." It was approved without further debate. He hopes that a compromise bill can be ready by next Tuesday for his House panel. This is super exciting news for us in the Commonwealth as we get closer to starting a safe and regulated market and help dismantle the harmful and dangerous black market. Senator Kryzik has stated he wants to be on the same page. Both bills have been sent to their opposite chambers, and now they just need to iron out some of the broader differences to make a bill that appeals to everyone. The major differences are, of course, taxation, 9% versus 17.5%, growing outdoors, social equity, licensing, and retail launch times. I've been on this topic since my very first episode, and as always, I will continue to do my due diligence to bring you what I know as it develops. Now, I've tried to reach out to some of these senators myself, and so far I have not been lucky enough to snag their time as of yet. But I know this is a really fast-moving time for us in the Commonwealth, and these guys have been keeping really busy to get a real bill that might actually pass the governor's desk, and I respect that. It probably doesn't help that I'm a small independent guy with not a lot of followers. Well, that's where you come in. I need your help. Please share my content to get my message out to as many people as possible. I hope to do a lot of good with my work, as well as bring education and entertaining stories, not just to Virginia, but to everyone. I hope that my work can one day spread to states like Tennessee and the 8 other gray states that don't have neither a medical or an adult use program. So let's face it, my friends, it's time to end federal prohibition and at least get a viable medical program in every state. No one should ever fear traveling with their medication anywhere. So stay with me as I do my best to bring the evil stigmas out and end prohibition once and for all. And now, my friends, it's time for this week's pot topic. Schedule 3. Should it be the future of cannabis? This one is very important, as this could be a deciding factor on where our industry is heading. What am I talking about, you may ask? Since November of 2020, there's been a strong thrust in moving forward ending cannabis prohibition, starting with the United Nations making changes to how they define cannabis according to the UN Convention on Narcotic Drugs. President Biden used this in his 2020 campaign, and in 2022, he made a public cry to reschedule cannabis in light of the new information, and has even went as far as to start righting the wrongs and overturning convictions for cannabis-only offenses. This is truly an amazing time to be in cannabis reform, as changes are being made for the first time with haste, as a multi-billion-dollar market is growing every day. So first, let's define what schedule means in the drug world. The government lists all drugs into classes from 1 to 5. This system has been in place since the Control Act of 1970. Let's take a look at them real quick. This is directly from the United States House website. Schedule 1, Part A. The drug or other substance has a high potential for abuse. Part B. The drug or other substance has no currently accepted medical use and treatment in the United States. Part C. There is a lack of accepted safety for the use of the drug or other substance under medical supervision. Some common examples are heroin, LSD, PCP, crack, and for some strange reason, even cannabis. Schedule 2, Part A. The drug or other substance has a high potential for abuse. Part B. The drug or other substance has a currently accepted medical use in the treatment in the United States or currently accepted medical use with severe restrictions. Part C. Abuse of the drug or other substances may lead to psychological or physical dependence. Some common examples are cocaine, morphine, oxycodone, and Ritalin. Schedule 3. Part A. The drug or other substance has potential for abuse less than other drugs or other substances in Schedules 1 and 2. Part B. The drug or other substance has a currently accepted medical use in the treatment in the United States. Part C. Abuse of the drug or other substances may lead to moderate or low physical dependence or high psychological dependence. Some common examples are ketamine, anabolic steroids, codeine, and hydrocodone products mixed with aspirin or acetaminophen. Schedule 4, Part A. The drug or other substance has a low potential for abuse relative to the drugs or other substances in Schedule 3. Part B. The drug or other substance has a currently accepted medical use in treatment in the United States. Part C. Abuse of the drug or other substance may lead to limited physical dependence or psychological dependence relative to the drugs or other substances in Schedule 3. Examples for Schedule 4 are drugs like Xanax, Soma, Darvocet, Ativan, and for all the old schoolers out there, there's Valium. And finally, Schedule 5. Part A. The drug or other substance has a low potential for abuse relative to the drugs or other substances in Schedule 4. Part B. The drug or other substance has a currently accepted medical use and treatment in the United States. Part C. Abuse of the drug or other substance may lead to limited physical dependence or psychological dependence relative to the drugs or other substances in Schedule 4. Lastly, examples for Schedule 5 are Robitussin AC, Lyrica, and Lomotil. Well, that's what the government defines the most addictive and dangerous to the least addictive and dangerous. Since 1970, activists and lawyers have fought along with brave members of the medical and scientific community to finally get Congress to see that there is indeed a medical use, many uses, in fact, for cannabis. Cannabis has also proven to not be, as Eric Foreman once said, hopelessly addictive. Since 2008, we have come so far and still have a ways to go, but taking cannabis off the same playing field as heroin and crack, that's a big leap forward. Other benefits that analysts have found is that it'll fix many of the broken financial systems that have been making it hard for both business entrepreneurs and consumers alike. For instance, it could liberate the cannabis industry from the punitive taxation imposed by IRS Code 280E that is currently only affected by Schedules 1 and 2. There are many other benefits for consumers due to the elimination of 280E tax penalty as well. It could make for a more price-competitive market, meaning it could lower cost overall and increase competition. So on paper, all this sounds pretty good. However, there are some activists that feel a push towards full descheduling would be a better move. What that would mean is putting cannabis on the same level as tobacco and alcohol. Now here's a fun fact. Did you know that even though both are highly addictive and highly dangerous, and I mean Schedule 2 level dangerous, they are not scheduled or labeled as a controlled substance at all? Yeah, go figure. Well, actually, there's a reason for that, but that's another hot topic for another day. But let's just say a lot of people feel that that would be a better direction, as it would allow uniformed rules and regulations set across the board that would be set by the ATF. It would also allow for a free and fair market system and interstate commerce, and would allow for a non-FDA controlled system, as all Schedule 3 drugs are generally prescription only. I mean, you can't buy steroids or ketamine at a local CVS, right? Or at least not without a prescription, can you? And that leads to the next point. Some also feel that it could lead to a takeover by big pharma to control the industry and practically undo the entire recreational market that is now 24 states strong, leaving only a medical system in place. And flowers or dabs? Forget it. Do you think suddenly a real doctor is going to recommend smoking anything? No way. You'll be lucky just to get gummies and tinctures that are at extremely high market prices. However, descheduling is not as easy as it sounds. There would need to be tons of new legislation placed by Congress to make that happen. It also puts the United States in direct conflict with its obligation to the 1961 UN Convention as amended that requires some form of medical treatment of cannabis to fulfill its obligations thereunder. So even though I think a move to Schedule 4 or even Schedule 5 is a safer bet for the industry as it would protect it from lobbyists and big pharma, the move for Schedule 3 so far is a big win, and it's good for the future of cannabis. Over the last year and a half, even before I moved to Virginia, the move to Schedule 3 has been the latest rave on all the national canna news. So I'm going to continue to follow this as closely as possible, and I'm going to keep you posted if I find out new information. So the question of the week is, what do you think? Should we move forward with Schedule 3 or continue to wait for congressional resolutions and have it descheduled through UN negotiations? Let me know in the comments. As always, I welcome a good debate. Well, that's my time for today. Until next time, stay lifted, my friends.